What's up, everybody? James Gore, Sonoma County Supervisor. I'm here with a good friend and collaborator. This is Adam Peacocke. Adam's with, he has his own organization, Feathervine, and we've worked with each other since 2017 in the aftermath of the fires.
Yeah.
So many of us came together from different worlds, different institutions to kind of get off of our heels from that shock, that hit that we all took, and to build the kind of partnerships between government, faith-based community, nonprofits, private businesses, other institutions out there to make our community more integrated, more resilient, more connected.
Yes.
And I'm just excited because even though we came together and aside of it was fire, we have other fires every day in our community. We don't just have natural disasters and things that we've dealt with, but we have, we've gone through COVID together. We're dealing with school, with integration into schools, and dealing with mental health issues and homelessness and foster programs. And so I want to thank you for being a true connector with the faith-based community and the ministry that happens each and every day, and making sure that we're living.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that you and I talk about is that to address big issues, societal issues, or to address big issues that are going on in our climate and other things, is that you have to grow the we.
Yes.
It has to be about more than just government or.
Yes.
And so for me, you've been a key partner, and we have an announcement that recently came out about a movement forward in a partnership, and I want to pass it over to you, talk about what we're doing, and then we'll go a little bit deeper and about the relationship and where we could take it. And as always, a call to action. There's always a freaking call to action, because we gotta take opportunity to build hope into our community, into our systems.
Yeah, James, thank you. So grateful to have this conversation. Our relationship means a lot to me personally, but I'm so excited about the good that has been able to happen in our community. We want to announce that through ARPA funding that came through the county, our faith-based organizations and the work that I'm doing with Feathervine has been included in a grant under the Department of Emergency Management and our Office of Equity to make disaster response more effective, but also more equitable. Because what we've seen as we face disaster after disaster is that our most vulnerable members of our community often bear the greatest impact from the disasters that we're facing. And so, first of all, I'm so excited to be included in this work, but more importantly, to see the faith community standing shoulder to shoulder with other community-based organizations and our government on behalf of our community, every member of our community in that way. Just quickly as an example, because I'm pumped up about what the faith community brings to the table, and what it looks like for us to build a relationship of trust for the good of everyone. And so part of this work has involved trying to figure out what has the impact of disaster been and how can we cooperate. And so one of my assignments in this work has been to host listening sessions in what we're looking at as certified census tracts, where the population of that part of our community tends to be more vulnerable, to have greater obstacles to building the life that we want everyone to have. I've had no trouble finding a faith-based organization in every one of those census tracts, and
when you say that, talk about the world of faith-based institutions, churches here in Sonoma County.
Yeah, so we obviously
how many are engaged in ministry?
Okay, thank you. So there are over 250 faith-based organizations, congregations of different faiths. I love to say we have a really rich and diverse faith community here in Sonoma County. And it's not just a diversity of belief, it's also a diversity of geography, a diversity of approach and size and community makeup. But we're everywhere. I mean that in the best way, that those who care about the community here, we're doing surveys, right, of these 250 organizations. And so far, 100% of those we've been able to engage with in the survey do something to reach out and help our community beyond their own congregation.
Yeah. Some kind of ministry work.
Yes.
Foster care.
Yes.
Disaster management.
Food insecurity.
Sheltering. Food programs.
Yes.
You know, one of the things when we were working during the pandemic, because I hosted jointly with you a group of faith-based leaders from all around Sonoma County, because it was the first time that the word congregation was a negative word. You cannot congregate.
Right.
And so we really did a gut check on how we as different institutions, government, as I say, nonprofit, others, and then the faith-based community really say, hey, not the so-called separation of church and state is not about delivering onto people's plates on the ground. It's about what do we do when times are tough, and what do we do when we have issues in our community. So we've really, what I'm inspired about is taking this world where, if you look in the far past, as one pastor told us, it's like churches were the safety net before government really stepped up.
Right.
And now for churches and church goers to be able to participate, they got to get some kind of certification to be a certified emergency response technician or disaster worker. But we're going through that process to build those, not just bridges and relationships, but the programs that allow good, well-meaning institutions to provide support and wraparound services for folks in the jail, for folks that are on probation, for homelessness efforts, and then into our schools. So this is good.
It's great. Honestly, I'm just a huge believer in the fact that collaboration really matters. We know this practically in our homes. There's some things that are too big to lift alone. In our community, there are some things that are too big to lift alone. But just getting a bunch of people around something and saying, try and help. If we can't learn how to lift together on three, we're not going to move the things that matter most. And so we're trying to lift together on three, and I am so grateful for those in government who are saying, hey, we want you around this problem. We want you lifting with us. And so it's exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, I think, our partnership started in the wake of the 2017 fires. And one of the things that I remember most fondly was when we were allowing folks to get back into their neighborhoods. What that meant, getting back into their neighborhoods, is they were coming back to a location where their sacred site was ash.
Yes.
So they'd been evacuated, we locked it all off, we went through determining it was safe, pulling away infrastructure, like downed lines, propane tanks, all these hazardous things we pull out. And then we allowed people to come back in, and we gave them things like, it breaks your heart, but things to be able to sift through ashes, to try and find mementos, and to allow them to come back onto a site. And one thing that I saw there right off the bat is that in the line, not to just hand people a bucket with shoes and gloves and some goggles and a shovel and some sifting areas, but the next area we went through was a bunch of faith-based leaders giving folks food and a hug, and just well-meaning people of character. And so that just shows you what we can do, not just during disaster times, but each and every day.
That's right.
And we're going to set up a couple more times to talk more about other issues, but on this note, this is one to finalize. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Good
much.
work.